Hey guys, just gonna do a quick live. Okay, the dogs have decided they all want attention now that I'm down here. Wanted to do a live and talk to you guys a bit now that Shakaylee's head home today. Kara, my love, I love you, bud. And talk to you guys about kind of what we have going on at the shelter, what we have coming up, and what we need from you guys. Which, I mean, we always need something, right? So. This morning on my drive-in, we posted, I had some dry dog food in my car, so I stopped and fed some starving dogs or hungry dogs. Some of them look well fed, and then there were some that were just way too thin and had mange and whatnot. So I was able to get treatments in most of them. One of them accidentally got 2 treatments because they were a little quicker on the draw than the other dogs. But I'll keep following up with that same pack just to make sure that their hair is actually growing back and stuff. Let's see if I can sit you down if the dogs are not going to try and take my phone. I've included a link on here for our website, and it just says get involved. That's where you guys can find all the different ways that you can help War Paws. Depending on where you're at, what your means are, what you're good at, we need a little something of everything. So I mean, you could foster, you could adopt, you could fundraise. There's lots of ways to assist us. So Shakaylee left for Canada this morning, going back home. She had only signed up for 6 months, so she just the time was just, it had run out on her commitment, so that's all that was. And we are hoping that she'll be back at some point. We have Dr. Ali and Elia going out in the driveway tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning to start doing vaccines. We're going to try and make sure that we don't have any gaps because Shakaylee really kept up on our vaccines outside. The final numbers right before she left were 1,033 dogs that had been vaccinated since the beginning of the year, which is an incredible amount that have received rabies vaccines, DHPPI, lepto, and then hundreds of mange dogs that have been treated. So we're off to a good start this year. I was talking to Luis this morning, and we want to start cooking additional food for the dogs and sending it at least 3 days a week down the driveway, so out the driveway and then down the road that goes out to the main highway. Those dogs out there, while some of them seem decently fed, the other ones, they all have ear tags. We can't confirm where the ear tags are from. We assume government, but we're not sure. But those dogs need a source of food, so we would like to be able to feed them. There's probably 200 of them up and down that road. So we're thinking if we cook an extra 75 kg of rice per day and another 20 kg of chicken, that we should be able to hopefully feed that group up and down the road. And then as we have ones that are friendly enough, if they're not spayed or neutered, we'll grab them. But that requires additional funding. So if anyone watching knows someone that has the desire to help with animal rescue financially, please feel free to share the link that we've got on here and encourage them to reach out to us or to help in some way. Because our needs are just going to continue to grow as we reach out more into the community and provide more help. I'm supposed to be interviewing somebody tomorrow. Since Soam has left, we haven't had as many people, and we're falling behind on everything. Everyone's having to stay late, and yeah, so lots going on here. Yeah, the temperature's a little bit lower. It's 10:42 right now, and it's only 46 degrees, so we have had a little bit of a decrease in temp, which is good. It was 48 by like 9 a.m. the last couple of days, and it has been painful. So everybody's been a little on edge and a little grumpy here. The heat tends to do that, not just to us, but to everyone here. The animals, everybody's on edge. We would like to build another couple of pools. So our driveway, we extend out to almost to the road. But we don't usually go outside of our gate to provide water and stuff because it's a lot for us. But we are seeing an increasing number of dogs kind of collecting outside of the gate that our dogs won't let in. So we're talking about if we can fundraise enough that we would like to build a few more pools, possibly 2 or 3 more out at the end of the driveway. And then maybe if we can get somebody to sponsor the water, or get a few of the warehouses to maintain the pools. We'd like to build a few down the road to where the dogs are not going without water during the hottest parts of the year. So yeah, I estimate each pool would cost about like $500 to build, between the blocks, the concrete, the labor, and then they need some sort of cover on them, like just having a pool with nothing on top. It helps, but it's not great. So yeah, about $500 a piece is what we estimate for the pools to cost. Like I said, I included a link here in the live to our website, and that'll tell you the different ways that you can donate or help. For people that have been supporting us for a long time, you know that My Giving Circle is a good place to donate. But you can also donate directly through our website, PayPal. Like, there's lots of ways. But even just sharing our post, share this live. If you know somebody that you think might be interested in helping, or maybe they know someone, please do send our live. Karen, only 46 degrees, yeah. But it's wild how much just a 4-degree drop makes for us. Like, I'm at a point where I'm stopping sweating, so I'm like, I've got heat exhaustion, and that's just from my normal day-to-day stuff. But the last few days I've been quite sick from the heat, so 46 is feeling just a little less horrible. And we're likely to stay, we're middle of July right now. It's probably going to be another 2 months before the temperatures really start dropping back off. And I expect that to be worse every single year going forward. Like, this is probably the coldest year we're going to have going forward, if things are continuing on the way they are. Catherine, those temperatures are brutal. I thought it was bad here at 38. Yeah, no, 38 is comfortable here. I would say 28, like if it were 28 year round here, like we would be laughing. Like that's a really comfortable temperature for the Kurdistan region. Back when I moved here in 2018, in June, it was the first year that this region had ever topped like 40 degrees for more than 1 or 2 days. So I got here right as we were kind of entering extreme temperatures, and then it became 48 was the normal every summer. And this is for mountainous areas, like areas that had never seen temps like that. We expect it down in Basra or Diyala, Baghdad, but not here. So, and that's happening globally. It's not just us. I mean, places that used to be like vacation spots, all throughout Europe are experiencing horrific weather every year, every summer. Floods, droughts. Whether we like it or not, the climate is changing, and I'm hoping that we can adapt quickly so that we can tolerate it. If you guys have any questions, also if you have any ideas for fundraising, and it's not just for 1 month, we need a constant stream of money here to run this shelter. We've been having to use our generator a bunch, and that is just draining us financially. It's like a little over $1,000 every time I have to call them out to fill up the generator, and we've done it twice this month, or in the last 30 days, not in July, but twice in the last 30 days. Catherine, hopefully the funds raised from the online dog show I'm running will help build another. One moment, let me read your message. Sorry, my screen doesn't want to work on my phone. I can't, it won't let me expand the comment. But yeah, hopefully you raise a decent amount of money on that, and we're able to put some of that towards a pool. Luis had a bit of a, I wouldn't say a breakdown, but she wasn't real happy when I had to call her and tell her that I need her to send more money in, because we pay salaries in 12 days, and I don't have enough to pay salaries. So, and then of course she immediately goes right to the online cash book to see where I've squandered all of your money, and it just turns out it's like there was nothing really abnormal. Like, our costs are just really high. We've had to buy more rice, we've had to buy more generator diesel, we've had to buy more water than we've ever had to buy before. And it's easy for people to say, well, operate within your means, and then to be here physically and see the need. Like, we pull into the driveway and, oh, there's a new dog. I'm not going to tell that dog, hey, piss off, right? Like, I'm not going to give you water or food. We just do it, and then we figure it out later. So yeah. I think I was on a live when I was talking about the blood machine breaking down. I did talk to the company at length, and we went through every possible thing that I could do in country. Dr. Teresa had tried, and we could not get the blood machine working. Like there's some sort of internal component that is flawed or fouled or something. So we had to send the blood machine out, and that was hundreds of dollars. And then the government here grabbed the machine and made us pay customs on it for a rented machine. Even though we should be exempt, but they're saying for the exemptions we have to give them a month's notice, send photographs, send our lawyer to the, I think it's Ministry of Interior or the DOJ or something, to get like pre-approval for every single item that we send out, which is just, that's not reasonable for us. So I'm not really sure. I still need to talk to Luis about the blood machine situation. The plan was to have them repair it and then to send it back in, but we're probably going to get hit with customs again coming back in. And then what happens when it breaks again? But for me to buy a machine here is $6,000, which we just don't have. So, like I said, if you guys have any ideas for fundraising, like, we're not too proud to say we don't have all the answers, and feel free to comment, private message, to email. You can email us at operations@warpaws.org, or Oriana@warpaws.org, or Luis@warpaws.org. Feel free to reach out to us and tell us your ideas. Worst we can say is, hey, we've already tried that, but and a lot of the time that does happen, right? Like someone will reach out with a great idea, and it's something that we've already tried or we've been trying for years, and it just doesn't work out. But you never know, your idea might be the one we haven't heard yet. It's going to take an awful lot of people to keep this project running long term. We can't do it by ourselves. Sorry, I'm a little like phlegmy. I think it's just from being dehydrated. Excuse me. Let me show you the dogs they're behaving themselves really nicely. I've got Andromeda in here. I've got Vienne, which if you look real carefully, you can kind of see her. She bounces while she sleeps. She's a distemper survivor. I've got Elsa, and then I've got our old girl, our senior queen, and then Gara, which Gara is still looking for a home. He's blood tested and ready to go. I think Elsa is as well, but we haven't put her on the website yet. So that's another thing. If you guys are thinking about adopting a dog, or you know anyone that's thinking about adopting a dog in the UK, please do go over to our website and have a look at the available dogs, because we've got a lot of great dogs on here, and we've got somebody that would fit every situation, every household. So consider adopting from us. Every dog that we get adopted out means that we have space for another dog to take in. Yeah, what else we got going on? We're getting a little low on the dry dog food in country. I haven't put me on the wish list or anything because it costs a lot to ship the food in, so I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that Royal Canin Iraq or another local company will step in and do another donation soon. I think we're down to our last 8 bags of dry dog food, which will go incredibly fast. We use 1.5 bags a day, so I mean, worst case scenario, we'll just buy more rice and chicken, and we'll just have to feed the dogs with that. But ideally, we have dry dog food as well, because chicken and rice is not a balanced diet for the dogs. Catherine, surely the company is breaking trading standards, regulations, as the blood machine is obviously not fit for purpose. I don't think it's the company that we rent the machine from. It's the regional government here in Kurdistan. They're disorganized. They are trying to improve, but they're disorganized, and there's a lot of thieves in the government that everybody's sucking the money out of everyone they can. And because we're foreign, specifically of the fairer variety, they tend to focus on us and try to screw us at every turn. Karen Garvey. One second. Elsa's decided she's gonna pop up. No, it's a long shot. Would you be allowed to go into the schools to talk about what you do? So yeah, we've done that in the past. We send our local volunteers out to schools that are kind of in villages and stuff. to talk about bite prevention and whatnot. I go to the international schools that are close by. We haven't been invited back this year. I don't know if it's just because what we're doing is kind of controversial here, especially with the government wanting to capture the dogs and put them in their shelter. So, but yeah, no, normally I'm invited to King's School and Marif International, and we've done a little bit of fundraising off of those, not a lot, but a small amount. But this year I wasn't invited, like they haven't sent me any invites. Luis, the company we rent the blood machine from are amazing. Yeah, no, they were really helpful on the phone and stuff. I don't think they had anything to do with the customs stuff. That was just the government here. Also, you guys would probably be able to find some information online about the KRG, the Kurdistan Regional Government. So they're like a semi-autonomous region of Iraq, and there's a lot of drama between them and the federal government. Mostly based on, it's not religion, it's like tribal stuff. With one group thinking they're entitled to a region based on their tribe or other stuff, and he who controls the land controls the money. So their infighting makes it really difficult for us to get stuff in and out of the country. Dorn, did you think about installing a Patreon account? This allows supporters to easily pay monthly donations. Oh, I'm having a really hard time. My phone's broken, so I'm having a hard time opening the comments on here. There we go. Patreon account. So it allows you guys to pay different amount levels. I remember you said you can't use this platform because you don't have a special content. Yeah, so that has held us up. But if you clearly communicate that this is not possible in your shelter, I guess everyone would understand and not insist on it. Most important thing is that the Patreon would help raise regular donations. We'll definitely look into it again. Luis and I can talk about it a little bit later. Hi, Queenie, our senior girl. I'm sitting on one of their beds. There's a perfectly good bed open next to me, but she wants this one. Hey, honey, do you want to sit with me? You can. There's enough room for us both here. These are nice big beds that were donated. Oh, good Lord. Bian get. Imshi. Imshi means like walk in Arabic. Imshi. Or go. I can tell her bro is also, that's Kurdish for go. Catherine, the government, say no more. Yeah. Governments globally are frustrating, but it's especially frustrating here. If anyone has an iPhone they would like to donate, Oriana would be most appreciative. Yeah, we don't buy new iPhones. I've got a reconditioned iPhone 11, but Luis, if nobody donates one, I'm thinking about just saving up and getting something with more storage. I've been looking on Amazon. I think I can buy a reconditioned one, like an iPhone 13, the one that has 1 terabyte of storage. Because this one, it doesn't have enough gigabytes either, so I'm constantly having to delete videos, and the instant that I delete a picture or video, I guarantee you, Luis will message me and says, hey, do you have video of this? Or I'll need it for a grant application, or we'll need it like a grant follow-up. It never fails. So I've started paying for cloud storage, and then I can't figure out how to get my storage off of there. So Luis, don't worry about it too much if nobody comes up with a phone. I'm planning on saving up and just getting myself a newer iPhone with more storage. And the temps here, like that's a problem for phones. Like I go outside and my phone's always overheated, and I don't know if a new phone would fix that. Also, moisture is an issue as well. Like we're out here, rain, shine, doesn't matter. Let's see. Comments on there. What else do we have happening? Once we start getting the new pools and stuff built, so we're a little held up right now on our outside projects. We're waiting on a local supporter had committed to donating concrete, and he keeps saying that he's going to send it and then he doesn't, which, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? But we're getting really far behind on scheduling, and at the same time, I can't afford to go buy, to get the concrete trucks. It's like $1,000 worth of concrete. But so we're held up on a lot of projects right now. And ideally, we would be getting this done soon because it's hot enough to where the concrete will cure. During the winter is not ideal. I feel like my voice is really raspy. So we also want to get some feeding pads, like concrete pads, put all the way around the back of the shelter, because we do have dogs that some of them are just struggling to access the food that we do provide. We also, before the winter months, we've been trying to find a local concrete or construction company that will come out and like pave around the back of the shelter, because it gets so muddy that the water truck, the Satuta, any one of us that has to drive around the back of there will get stuck in the mud. And it's like we can't feed by hand because the dogs like will chase you with the food and then attack the other dogs while they're trying to eat. So we kind of have to haul ass around the shelter with the food and quickly deposit it at each feeding station and then bounce. Sandy, thank you for everything you do. No thanks needed. Just, we appreciate you guys continuing to support us so that we can keep doing this stuff. Like most of us that are doing this, we're not in it, for any other reason than we see a need and we want to fill it. But we can't do that without you guys, without the supporters. Yeah. So we're still waiting on, we've got several shop host shipments in transit. Somehow our shipment got like split, so we only got like 17 boxes of our last shipment, and then the rest is still waiting to come in. But I'll be posting updates of that. I try to get pictures and videos of all of the physical donations that you guys are sending in. I really want you guys to know how much we appreciate all of the things that you send, and that we do genuinely need the stuff we ask for, and we use it all. I feel like our content has kind of dropped off recently. It's been obscenely hot, and we've got some staffing changes with Shkaylee leaving, Elliot coming on. We're interviewing for another person to come in because we need our other person in the clinic, just helping to clean and kind of support the clinic staff. So we're a little slow getting to our updates and stuff. The guys were nice enough to come in this morning. First thing when I got here, I was in here trying to sweep and clean the office. Usually someone would come in and he would do that, to where because if it's just me working in here, like obviously I can keep my workspace clean, but I struggle when I've got dogs in here all day long. It's hard for me to keep up on the cleaning and do all of my other work. So hoping that the guy that I interview tomorrow will work out. That way Elliot doesn't have to keep staying late helping us clean the clinic and stuff. And yeah, the guys came in this morning and they're like, do you need help cleaning? Yes, please, thank you. So I had them come in and they helped like sweep and mop and just, take the garbage out and stuff like that. Okay, he's sleeping so nicely. These are those beds you guys donated off of Amazon. I had asked for them for the office. I'm currently using one right now as a seat. And as you can see, some of the dogs prefer to lay on the cool tile floor. Underneath my little makeshift desk is actually a favorite favorite spot for these guys. But yeah, they really appreciate these beds. And, you guys can see some of the donations in the background. We've got like Whimsies that have been donated through Jollies. If you guys are in the UK and you're looking to purchase pet supplies for yourself, we highly recommend Jollies. I think the one that we get donations from is the Great Bridge one. I don't know exactly where it's at. Luis, if you wouldn't mind commenting or putting maybe their website link or whatever on there. But yeah, if you guys are thinking about ordering some pet supplies, please do consider Jollies, because they give us a ton of support. And this is the second year in a row now that we've been chosen as one of their charities to support. So they provide us with a ton of wet food. They encourage their their shoppers and stuff to purchase stuff for us, and they promote different items, and then we ship them in. Elizabeth, you were all amazing. Thank you. We appreciate the kind words. So My Giving Circle, I know I talked about it previously. We did win the last round, which was 1,250 pounds, which is great. We're so grateful for everything we get. The next round, I don't know how much the first prize is. I'll have to check. But you get to vote once per week for free. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. It takes a few minutes to vote. It is one vote per person, so you can encourage your whole household to vote. Like, me and my husband both vote, but it's not one vote per email. It's one vote per person. So keep that in mind. And then if you are not already getting our newsletters, go to our website and please sign up for our newsletter, because we don't send them out all that often. Luis puts them together maybe once a month, or sometimes twice a month if we have stuff going on. But that's usually where we do bigger announcements, or if we have like lengthy type stuff to explain. So there's a bit more information in our newsletter. So yeah, if you haven't already signed up, please head over to our website at www.warpaws.org, and it should prompt you to sign up for the newsletter right when you go to the website. But sign up for the newsletter. We send those out every once in a while when we have like special announcements or other stuff. And we'll do occasional reminders for voting stuff, or we'll send out links so that people can easily find the links whenever they need them. Trying to think of what else we got going on. This wasn't a very and I say this every time, like, oh, it's an impromptu live, or I don't have anything prepared. It's just because I'm generally unprepared these days. Each day is bringing some new stuff to us, and I used to spend hours and hours and hours, at night going through my notebook, like making really detailed to-do lists and plans and other stuff. And then 4 years later, like I kind of gave up, because each day will bring such chaos that I get stressed when I can't get through my planned stuff or through my to-do list. So yeah, now I just have, if anybody looked at my notebook, they would be seriously concerned for my well-being, just because it's so chaotic looking now, because I just scribble down and jot stuff as I go. Whereas a couple of years ago, I had little sticky labels on everything, color-coded, everything was dated. But now I'm just winging it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else we have going on. Looking over at our we've got a spot on our board for stuff like, we've gotten sponsorship locally for a few local items, or for a few smaller items, like our cooking gas. The guy that we buy our rice from, he's been sponsoring our cooking gas for a few months now, which is like $180 a month that we're saving. So we're really grateful for that. And we can get donations and stuff locally for a few small things, like to help cover fuel or other stuff. But we still have some really big stuff that we don't have continuous monthly sponsorship for, like our water truck. During the summer, sorry, I can't seem to find a comfortable place to sit here. During the summer, we use a lot more water, so it's 1,250,000 Iraqi dinar, so like between $800 and $1,000 a month, depending on the exchange rate. So, and that's never not needed. And usually we cover that just from people donating for whatever. Like, whatever you guys donate, if we need it at that moment for water, we use it for water. Like, we don't have a choice. But if we had monthly sponsorship for some of these things, that could take a little bit of the pressure off of us. Catherine, I wonder if any pupils from the international schools are interested in careers in animal care, veterinary science, and would... Let me have a look at your comment. Yeah, like sometimes the touch screen works and then other times it doesn't. Yeah, I can't get it to open. I'll read it after the live. So some of the kids are interested in jobs in veterinary medicine. Right now, I've been having people reach out from some of the universities, the people, like the presidents of the universities and stuff. They want to meet with me. I haven't had even a single day to host them here to where I can meet with them. I do have stuff lined up. It's just having time. And then also, if they don't speak English, my Arabic's not great, right? So I need to have like a day where I'm scheduled with T or with Dr. Ali to where they can translate. But they've been trying to set up a meeting with me for a while so that we can, Dr. Ali and I were talking about going into Mosul to teach workshops at the college. And then also to kind of like do a job fair type thing where they can ask us questions, and maybe the top students or people that are interested in animal welfare, that they could sign up to come volunteer here. Louise is saying we were hoping to get a volunteer program together soon. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm talking about right now. So we do have plans to do a volunteer program and to kind of partner with some of the colleges. There's a university in Mosul that we've been in contact with, but I keep we just keep missing each other time-wise for meetings. But I'm trying to meet with their president for that university, and then also someone from the directorate of their veterinary department in Mosul. They're talking about wanting to open up a shelter, like a government shelter there, and I would like to meet with them before they break ground on it, because I want to try and discourage them. They mean well, I'm sure, but I've seen it fail over and over and over and over again, and it just ends up costing their tax money and stuff. So I've got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to get arranged to where I can get into Mosul with Dr. Ali, and we can go meet with them and get a program up and running. I don't think I'm going to have much success in talking them out of the shelter, because the public is pissed. They don't like to see the government out shooting the dogs. They don't like to see them out putting strychnine or whatever else they put out and killing the dogs. So then the government's like, well, we'll put them in a shelter. And they can't even afford to humanely euthanize them all at the shelter, even if they wanted to, or to feed them. So they end up just starving to death in these places, and it's a fate worse than death. Like, for me personally, I would rather a bullet than go into one of those government-run shelters. Oh God, not another government shelter. Yeah, Catherine. And I'm thinking that every single government, they call them governance, but it's like a city, or not city, region, county. I'm not sure what that's their word for it here. They see the other governance opening up these shelters and pretty much lying about them on social media, and lying about them on their websites, saying, oh, look what we're doing, and look, we have no dogs on the street. Oh, the people are so happy. And so they see them doing that, and they think that's a good solution. And I'm not naive. I know damn well that that it's not safe to have a huge population of dogs running around in the street. People in the UK wouldn't accept that as something safe. People in the US don't accept it as safe. And our solutions in the West have been brutal over the years. We put on a humane face, to the public, and there's lots of rescues and stuff, but a ton of healthy dogs get euthanized every single year, dogs and cats, because they just can't be allowed to roam on the streets. Let's say all the dogs are spayed and neutered and they're vaccinated. They're still on the street, and there's still a risk for, getting hit by cars, causing traffic accidents, attacking each other, attacking livestock. It's risky, and nobody wants to live in a place just filled with street dogs. Even dog lovers, it wears me down driving around out here, because every single day I see dogs dead on the road. Or if they're not dead, I'm seeing them thirsty or hungry. And it's sad, it's exhausting. And I do empathize with the government here. There's really not a good solution. My suggestions were to ban all importation of intact animals coming into the country. Because a ton of the street dogs, they're not just dogs. Yes, we share land borders, but they're not traveling in huge packs over mountain ranges to come here. They're being moved around by humans. They're being bred and sold in pet shops. They're being adopted and put on farms and not properly trained. All of these issues with the dog populations are human caused. Louise says, I have zero empathy for the government. It's not that I have empathy for the people that are making these decisions. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have empathy because these are really hard decisions. The government right now, if I went to meet with them and I gave them a solution that they could afford, that was quick, that gave them the results they needed, I think they would take it. And culling campaigns don't work, right? You have to stop people breeding dogs, intentionally breeding them, that's a wildly unpopular opinion. And I'll say stuff like that, and people are like, oh wow, look at how extreme she is. Even in my home area, in Everett, Washington, the shelters are constantly freaking packed. And Western Washington has less of an issue, but then if you go into Eastern Washington, there are huge packs of dogs roaming around, and most of them end up getting killed by the county. And if they don't get killed, well, then they get hit by cars, or they get, it's really sad. And it's not, like, we should remember that Iraq is not the only place in the world that is struggling with a stray dog population. Like, it's just more obvious here. And treating the people here and the government here like they're less than, or subhuman or uneducated or any other thing is not going to get them to cooperate with us. So I can have all the feelings I want about it, and I can be really frustrated, but at the end of the day, I don't, like, like I was talking about, there's a lot of thieves in the government, and that's true. But then also, they're not taking their salary for 7 months at a time here. So things need to change, but it's not like no one person is going to change it here. No one person, like the normal government type employee, is going to be able to fix this. It needs systemic change right from the top. Catherine, breeding definitely needs to be stopped. The government should fine people for not having their dogs neutered. I would agree with you 100% on that. Society at large, like, we should all agree, full stop, that we should not be breeding any domestic animal when there's a huge, we're talking millions and millions and millions of unwanted animals that are just being brutally killed because there's no place for them, right? Luis, pisses me off that the Western press are happy to report on the atrocities happening in Morocco, but none of them will. Let me see if I can open your comment. My phone's really frustrating me. But none of them will report on Iraq. That's true, but also, Luis, remember, Morocco is frequented by celebrities and other people going on vacation there. If there was an ocean here, like, yeah, there's ocean in Basra, but it's not the kind of ocean you're going to go to for vacation. If this was a vacation region with a beachfront, they would be reporting on it. Teresa, I agree, people have made the problem. Oh, 100%. Stray dog populations, these are not wild animals. In fact, wild animals don't need our intervention to manage their populations. They die out from disease, or they die out from predators or other stuff. Street dogs don't really have predators. And these are not wild animals. We domesticated them. We as a species have domesticated them and created this issue. And we've just collectively decided that it's somebody else's problem. All right, Andromeda, do you want to snuggle? She's like, no, I just wanted you to acknowledge that I was there. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Oh, mommy loves you. Hi. So yeah, we've created this issue, and collectively we need to fix it. But I think just us stopping breeding them, even for work, like, and I'm saying that as someone that I have a Belgian Malinois at home that I took in, like, I have a working breed. People think I bought her. I didn't. I wouldn't. I also had her spayed as quickly as I could, even though she's a dog that you could make money on breeding here. But I don't think that any sentient being should ever be bred for profit. I think that's morally reprehensible. And again, I say things like that, and people are like, wow, you're so extreme. I don't think that these are real extreme opinions. I think that they're common sense, but they're different than what we've grown up with, right? Like, when I was a kid, it was very normal to just, we'd take a dog off the street. Even in my hometown, like, I found several strays that had been dumped, like puppies dumped on the side of the road. It was also normal not to get your dog spayed or neutered. When I was a kid, we had a dog that had a dog house outside and, like, lived on a chain, and I still feel really guilty about that. This was in the early 90s. And, like, the community I lived in and my family and stuff on that side just didn't know any better. Like, and we've learned, and we don't do that stuff anymore. Elizabeth, they are realistic opinions. Yeah. Well, and also, I don't, like, my knee-jerk reaction to a lot of this stuff is to like criticize people or to yell at them, and that, like, no person has ever changed. Like, wanted to change when they've been confronted, right? Like our immediate reaction to confrontation is to get defensive and be like, oh, well, you know, this is how it's done here, or whatever. So we're trying to approach people and meet them where they're at, you know, and try and explain why it's not okay. Catherine, humans pimping out their animals to people. Yeah, it's gross. And they'll say, oh, well, my dog likes to be bred or whatever. There's no evidence of that. Like, as far as we know scientifically, like, dogs only breed based on instinct and hormones. They're not doing it for other reasons. And as humans, we have this nasty habit of, like, attributing human characteristics to all other animals. Like, we're animals too, right? But we're different than the others. We're all part of nature, but we're like, oh, this dog wants to be married. That's something I hear a lot. Oh, my dog should experience childbirth or whatever it is. They don't have that same desire like we do as humans, and attributing those characteristics to them is harmful. But that's going to take time to get that out of people's heads. We've also had people from European countries tell us, oh, I don't want to spay or neuter my dog because it'll become gay. Mm-hmm. Okey-doke. Like, sometimes it's just, I mean, we can tell people, we can explain everything that we know, and sometimes it's just not enough to get through to people. But this, like, the stray dog population is absolutely a human-made, and I'll say it's a disaster. Like, it's a disaster scenario globally. I don't know very many places in the world that don't have an issue with dogs in shelters. Like, their shelters are full. So much so that a lot of European countries and stuff have blocked dogs, you know, rescue dogs from coming in. And they're trying to block, you know, like, breeders from bringing in dogs and cats. But then there's, like, you know, the kennel clubs, like the breeding clubs, you know, with their breed standards, and the American Kennel Club and the, you know, whatever else. You guys have one in the UK too. Like, they are absolutely part of the problem. And these are really unpopular opinions, and people really get their back up about it. And when I tell people about, you know, my past experience with animals and stuff, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, or that, you know, my family were bad people because they didn't spay or neuter their dogs, or because, you know, they had an outdoor dog. It's just because we were ignorant. Like, we didn't know a better way. Like, we're learning. And I try to keep that in mind when I'm interacting with other people, especially in societies that haven't had dogs as house pets. Like, here, there is not a very long history of dogs as house pets. Like, that is a very recent thing. And prior to that, it was like just dogs for farm situations. Like, this region does have people that love animals, that love dogs, that are kind to dogs, but they also don't believe in spaying and neutering, or they just don't know any better. But they're kind to them. Like, you go out to village areas here, like more rural areas, and you'll see people that are good with the animals, that coexist with them. But it's still, the population is growing. You can't feed and water animals and not spay and neuter them without contributing to the problem, because animals will naturally die off from disease and other stuff if we're not intervening, like if we're not interfering in the situation. So here at War Paws, we don't provide food, water, and medications without also providing spay and neuter, because we don't want to be contributing to the problem at all. Catherine, don't get me started on the Kennel Club. I really have strong opinions about the Kennel Club, and I think that it's a shit organization. And I just don't think there's any place for it. We also see a lot of doctors, a lot of vets that breed dogs. And again, people are like, wow, Oriana, you're really extreme. And I can't speak for everyone at War Paws. Like, I can only speak for myself on this particular matter. But I don't think there is anything such as ethical breeding. And people can disagree with me. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to fight with them. I'm not going to insult them, not intentionally anyway. Um, but yeah, I would like to see people stop breeding dogs. And I don't think that anyone can really understand my grief at knowing that dogs are being bred when every single day, like I go to sleep seeing some of the most horrific things like replaying in my mind every single night. And I'm not the only one. Anyone that's involved in rescue has seen what's happening, and it's horrific. Yeah, we don't want to see any more dogs bred. Luis, if anyone thinks you are extreme, then what does that make me? Well, you're definitely considered extreme, Luis. Like, I'm moderate compared to you. I do try to refrain from like insulting people if I can. I mean, okay, I'm human. Like I get really frustrated sometimes, and I'll say something that's offensive. But I try not to be really judgmental, because like I'm not a vegetarian, which I know people are like, oh, you work in animal rescue and you know that animals are sentient beings and all of this. Like, why don't you stop eating animal products? And I don't eat a lot of animal products, but I do still eat cheese. I know the dairy industry is horrific. But also, like, if I go to the store and buy cashews, do you know how many hectares of land were stripped away from native species to produce those cashews or bananas or whatever the hell else that I'm buying or eating? Like, there is no food that you can put in your mouth that doesn't have an impact on the ecosystem. Like monoculture, where we're growing huge amounts of crops to distribute to human populations, is harmful to the environment. And it doesn't mean I'm self-hating or that I hate the human race or anything like that. It just, like I said, I try really hard not to be judgmental, because, like, what the fuck do I know, honestly? Like, I don't have any solutions, and until I have a little synthesizing machine that I can just, like, magic up my food from, like, you won't hear me, like talking bad to people, unless I'm having a real weak moment where I'm really angry or really frustrated, and usually that comes from a very sad, like a deeply sad place, when I am fighting with people. Occasionally I'll light out in the driveway, and I'm just hauling off, going after some local people that are like trying to round up their cows or something, and they're just being aggressive. But again, that's coming from a very wounded place. Like, I don't really have any right to be aggressive with them. So, and I know that. Catherine, I quite like insulting people. Somebody's got to do it. Elizabeth, we need to have you guys speaking for those animals that can't. So if that makes you extreme, so be it. Yeah, I mean, I do want to speak for them. I want to try and do it in a way that's culturally sensitive, and that means in the West as well. Like not everybody is where we are mentally. And I've never seen anybody grow for the better by being insulted. Like, most people want to feel included, and they want to be, they'd rather be part of the group, right? Like of the solution. But if they're insulted, then they automatically feel outside of that, and then they're less likely to change their mind. That's been my experience with the kids here, is that, so I'll tell you a story. I was living in Sully in 2019, 2020, like when the COVID thing happened. It was possibly the worst few years of my life. I was trapped in kind of a village area, or in a city, like on the border of a village. We weren't allowed to leave our gardens, weren't allowed to leave our houses, and there was just masses of kids that were not in school because all the schools were closed down, and they would come to my yard pretty much to like torture my dogs. And I fought with these kids. Like, I'd go out there and I'd throw rocks at them. I was chasing the kids down on foot to try and stop them, like, from hurting my dogs, and throwing rocks over my fence and stuff. And then I was like, this isn't working. Like, I ended up recruiting some of the kids. I told them I needed their help with the dogs, and I talked with their parents, and I had the kids translating, the ones that spoke English. And we went around and kind of gave the kids tasks around the neighborhood, to like, oh, you know, your job is to fill waters at this spot, and your job is to tell me if you see kids being mean to these dogs. And by the time I left there, that whole neighborhood of kids was like tattling on each other. And I remember standing outside, and there was like a little 4-year-old boy standing next to me, like with his grandpa. And, you know, he's wearing his traditional, you know, curd dress, and he's got a little belly. He's standing out there, and he's yelling at the other kids, and he says, bro, which means go. He says, day, like stop, you know, or you. So I kind of trained the kids to police each other. But they did that because I made them feel included, and I gave them kind of responsibility for stuff. So those kids went from being terrified of the street dogs there to then kind of being the stewards for that area. And that's a small thing, but for the handful of dogs that didn't get tortured or, you know, tormented afterward, it's a big deal. So that's my experience, and I'm just trying to make an impact without forgetting that these kids are, you know, also sentient beings. Like, I tend to be more hateful towards humans than any other living thing on this planet. Like, I got stung by a bunch of bees last year, these big old hornets that live here, these Asian hornets. And Louise is telling me, like, she's like, you can't keep letting them nest in your yard, like you or your dogs are going to get killed. And like, I kept waiting until they were dormant to move the nests or get rid of them or burn the nests, because I just couldn't bring myself to kill them. Like, they're just doing what's natural to them. So I am a very compassionate person, and then on that same, you know, thing, I was like really hateful towards humans because I'm seeing like humans being terrible to each other. So I'm trying to remind myself that humans are also animals, and they're also sentient beings. So, yeah. I feel like I've gone on kind of a weird conversation with you guys. Weird journey there. It's 11:30. I do have other things I could be or should be doing, but it's just so damn hot outside. I'm just trying to avoid getting heat stroke and having to call in sick. Well, not call in. I mean, who am I going to call in to? Myself? But if I am sick, we do fall behind on a lot of stuff. What did I say? Oh yeah, Dr. Ollie and Elia are going to be here at 5:30 in the morning. I'll be here at 7. So if they're still out, I will get out and help them with vaccines in the morning. It's been a couple of years now since I've had to go out and actually properly participate in a vaccine campaign outside. In the very beginning, there was very few of us out here, so I had no choice. But now those tasks have been kind of delegated to other people, and I get the supreme pleasure of dealing with government offices and dealing with tax paperwork and lawyers and residency offices and other stuff. So I've moved up, but I don't know if it's for the best. I went to the residency office today to sort out some stuff for one of our staff members, and like the prices keep going up. I actually called one of the guys at the residency office a cocksucker because I got frustrated and he was really dismissive. And I mean, everyone else, like every other employee that I dealt with today was really, really nice. And that one guy, like I really had a hard time letting it go because I was trying to find the person that I was there. Yeah, Luis, I can't let you deal with the government offices. Like, well, you'll end up arrested and then I'll have to cover your job. Luis is not nice when she deals with government people. So I don't ask Luis to do that. I do it. I need to keep the ship moving. The ship, not shit. But yeah, I kind of spouted off the government office, and I'm actually lucky I didn't get arrested because you're not allowed to talk to government employees like that. But I was not happy at being like waved away or dismissed when I'm trying to ask for help. Like none of the signs are in English. All of our employees that speak Kurdish are either like it's their day off and they have to have days off, you know, or they were just busy with other tasks. It's not normal for the country director to have to go to the residency office, but sometimes I have to go do stuff. And of course, when I go in dressed like this, they think that I'm like, I don't know, a gardener or something, or, you know, not that there's anything wrong with being a gardener, but they're just real quick to like dismiss me. Not knowing that I'm there like looking for a lawyer and that I represent an NGO. Frustrating. And some of the burden is on me too. Like I haven't learned the local languages as well as I would like. Like I speak some Arabic, Anachi Arabi, but I don't speak much Kurdish. And the words that I do know, they're like disjointed, right? Like I can say a few key phrases or things that I need, but if I need to explain something detailed, I can't do it in the local languages. So, and I've had people here say, well, why the hell would you be doing a job, if you're not qualified for it or you can't speak all the local languages? And yes, there are people like our operations manager, Tahir. He speaks 5 languages fluently. Dr. Ali speaks 5 languages fluently, but they can't do my job and their job at the same time. And this job is a whole nother level of crazy. Like we did initially, when I was still just the shelter manager. I started out as the assistant shelter manager and then took over as shelter manager when Renee left. And I never had any aspirations of moving up past that. And then I had no choice but to be the country manager, because you've got to have someone responsible that can sign documents. And then I had no choice but to take over as country director. Again, somebody's got to be responsible. And like, Louise can't do everything. She's our CEO and she's responsible for everything in the UK. Like, she can't also take care of everything here. So I came to be in this position out of necessity, not because I had aspirations of being country director of Warpaws. But we've not found anyone in country that is qualified to do my job. Like, if I could pass this off to somebody else, I probably would, because then I could go focus on other stuff. Like I really excel at operations management or doing operations stuff. That's what I like to do and what I'm good at, and I like interacting with the dogs, but somebody's got to do the government stuff, and I'm it, I guess. Also, the handful of people that might speak the languages or other stuff, they're certainly not going to take on the amount of work that I do, and they're not going to do it for the salary that charity work pays. Like, some NGOs, like ones that have big government contracts and stuff, like, they do pay good salaries, but we're not sponsored by any government. We have no government contracts. We get very few grants because we take care of animals, not taking care of people. Like, if we were helping children or vaccinating children or, working in IDP camps, there would be funds available for us. There would be grants we could apply for. But the pool of grants that are available to animal rescues is very small. And then when you add in that we're helping street animals, now that pool gets even smaller. Oh, and then we're in Iraq, almost non-existent for grants to apply for. You can apply for grants if you are running a charity, like let's say in the UK, if you are spaying and neutering owned animals in the UK and you're helping to rehome them, which is an excellent cause. Like, you'll never hear me talk bad about that. Yeah, there's very little available to us because there's such a big need to help control the population of domesticated animals globally. So yeah, we don't have those big budgets for really big salaries. Like, I'm not on a bloated NGO salary. And when because we were trying to reach out, like, I think we actually, Luis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we actually advertised for my position before I took it over, trying to find a country director, and like, people would hear what we had available to pay them, and they're like, no. What else? Catherine Fowler. My filter seems to have vanished since losing my partner in tragic circumstances. I always used to be really quiet, so I can't open your comment. I'll have to read the rest. But yeah, tragedy has a way of kind of removing our filters. And it affects each person a little bit differently. For some people, they might be really angry after the loss of a partner or a parent or a sibling or a child. Others get really sad or withdrawn. But I don't think there's any wrong way, really, to grieve. Luis, my diplomacy and tact died a long time ago. I know it. I know it. I have days where like, I impress myself. I go home and I'm like, man, I was so professional all day long, even though I was really angry. And then other days I go home and I was like, yikes. Like, we should really tone it down. You can't chase people with a stick, Oriana, and you can't call them names, and you can't say bad things about their parents and their families. Um, I'm trying not to hold it all inside, because I'm somebody that would, like, hold it and hold it and hold it, and then, like, a very minor inconvenience would come up, like somebody would cut me off in traffic, and then I would just completely lose it, and just unload all of that grief and frustration from my job onto some poor person that, maybe they're also having a bad day. We're still working on, God, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. The people that were doing our welding haven't come back for a while. We're hoping that we'll get different volunteers to come out, because we still have a ton of repairs throughout the back of the shelter. We still haven't repaired our shade around the back of the shelter, or where we have over our water tanks. It's still all crumpled up and folded. We have the metal to fix it. I just don't have the labor to do it right now. And even if I could pay our guys, to come in off shift, like, they're kind of burning out. It's the hottest part of the year, and they kind of told me they need their rest time. So we've kind of slowed down on our projects. Also, our dogs outside and inside the shelter really ultimately decide who's allowed here. Like, sometimes they decide they do not like people. Someone will give off a bad vibe or something to them, and they just will not let them work here. So, yep. I started out this live talking about our fundraising needs and stuff. So, guys, we need ideas for sustained, donations and stuff. We've got a lottery thing up and going. It's not ours specifically. Like, it took us a really long time. It took Luis a really long time to get that set up. But you buy, like, every month or whatever, you buy like a 10-pound ticket or something, and then you have a chance at winning this lottery. And then it, some of the money goes to supporting us. So we're doing that. We're signed up with My Giving Circle. We apply for every grant we can possibly think of. We send out newsletters. We do frequent, social media posts. We had a brush-a-thon recently. Like, we're open to suggestions. If you can think of if you have fundraising experience, or you know somebody that does, or maybe you've got a rich friend, or know someone that has a rich friend that wants to do some charity work or help us out. We need ideas, and we need money, and not just 1 month. Like, we need money every single month. I can't watch these dogs go without. Neither can anyone else involved. That's part of why we share so much of what we do with you guys, is because you have to see the need, right, to step up and fill it. Catherine, I'm signing off now to go up the mountain. Stay safe, everyone. Bye, Catherine. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for all of your comments and interactions. When you guys comment and stuff on here, it drives up the engagement and the views and stuff, and prompts other people to watch it. And the more eyes we have on our social media posts, the more likely we are to get in front of the people that can do a lot of good for us. Hell, it may even spark an idea in one of our longtime followers, and yeah. I remember when I first came in here, I came in with so much energy. It was coming off the back of COVID. I had, been sitting at home for like 16 months because I didn't have a choice. And I came in here, and it was all low-hanging fruit for me. Like, my brain really quickly picked out all the things I could do to save us money, all the things I could do to, get the shelter fixed up, to help the dogs. And then now I'm just so tired. Like, I still have ideas and stuff for the shelter, but I could use some help, and so could Luis, in our fundraising efforts. And not just ideas too. If you want to volunteer we always need people to reach out to companies for us and ask for in-kind donations. Fran Evans, she does a lot of that for us, and we have a few other supporters that do too. And previously, it was just Luis and I, and occasionally the trustees and stuff when they had time off work that were reaching out to companies. I personally did not have a lot of success. Like I got some in-kind donations from Pet Head and Royal Canin and some other stuff like that, but not all that many. But yeah, so there are all types of things that people can help with, and I've included the link here in the video so that you guys can get to our website, see the different ways that you can help us out. I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. I've got a few more minutes before I'm going to punish myself by going outside in the heat. Might as well spend it talking to you guys and hanging out and letting supporters know where we're at and what we're doing. We're making our way through these high five things. We got a couple of the bottles donated. I think they're like part of a running pack. Kind of, I just like squeeze it, but it fits pretty much the exact amount of water you need for one of those tablets. I'm trying to drink a few of those each day. I get home and I have the Libin, I don't know what, it's like a drinkable yogurt at home. There's one from Merson that I really like. It's like kind of a smoky one, real thin, like kind of watery yogurt. I'm doing everything I can to stay hydrated, and it's still like, it's hot in here and my face is bone dry because I'm so dehydrated. And I'm not the only one. Like everybody that we work with has been saying they're waking up with headaches, muscle pain, confusion, weakness. I took a little spill on the stairs last week or the week before and kind of hit my elbows and stuff. I'm fatigued, even though I'm sleeping. And a lot of that is just the extreme heat. We do know that it's temporary, right? Like we've got a few more months and then we'll be back into the cooler weather, and then you'll hear me out here screaming and crying about falling and slipping in the mud and how damn cold it is. Running an outdoor shelter in the Middle East gives me a lot of material to complain about. Helen Yates, we're having a Bring Your Dogs to Work Day in August, and Luis is coming, and all the funds raised will go to War Paws. Let's see. My phone is still not working. I can't open the rest of the comment. I'll have to read the rest of your comment in a little bit, Helen. But I'm sure Luis is looking forward to it. She's mentioned a few times that she's trying to get out with people like you and Fran and other people that have been our longtime supporters to do some in-person stuff. Previously, Luis, like, she still doesn't have time, but she had like absolutely zero time, less than zero time. She was working a full-time job plus running War Paws and just not, like, this is before I came on. But so she's trying to delegate some stuff to me, and I try to delegate some to T and whatnot. That way Luis and I can have time to do things like the Bring Your Dog to Work Day, or like Luis, she attended with Lou Harvey, one of our trustees, Dr. Lou Harvey. They went to this conference for like veterinary professionals, or like for suppliers or stuff like that. And they made a lot of really good contacts out of that, but they have to have time to go. Teresa, that's great, Helen. It is really great. I love to see stuff like that. Helen and Fran and some of our other supporters they've been with us a long time, and they keep pulling out miracles for us. Yeah. I feel like I'm a little scattered. I went in the clinic today because I got in before any of the clinic staff, and I saw that they were kind of struggling. Like we're down a person in there, and then Dr. Teresa's been on her holiday and stuff, so we've just been kind of falling behind. So I was in there trying to label some stuff up in the pharmacy and make some saline, and I start a load of laundry, take some other stuff out, which is not normally something that they would let me do, right? Like if they see me cleaning something, somebody else will jump in and do it. But I am seeing that they're needing a little bit more help than normal in the clinic. And outside too, the guys have kind of been, in the nicest possible way, trying to say like, it's too hot and we're exhausted for all of the heavy lifting that they've been having to do. Oh, I know what I can talk about. Camera system. We are waiting for a quote to come back on a really big camera system. We don't, like, they haven't gotten back to me yet. I'm going to follow up tomorrow if they still haven't heard back from them. They made out the map, and the guy came out and looked at what we needed and, you know, what kind of cameras and stuff. Because we need a system that can handle at least 64 cameras. And the system we have right now, it's like 32, and most of them, like, guys around here, you can see the TV there. You see all the black spots? Those are all broken cameras. And then, like, the ones that we do still have up and running, we've been kind of replacing as we go along. But some of them, the night vision part doesn't work, or the lens is cracked, or they got blown down in that tornado, that windstorm, and got damaged. This box behind me is all broken cameras that I'm like saving bits and pieces of everything in case we can use parts of it. I don't know. But it grieves me to throw away something that we spent a lot of money on. So, yeah, we're not really sure how we're going to pay for a new camera system yet, but Luis and I are at least looking at quotes and doing our best to try and have a figure in mind for what we need to fundraise for. I can't find a comfortable view here. I feel like I'm really awkward. But from what I can gather from the camera guy, we're looking somewhere in the $10,000 to $18,000 dollar range, that's kind of a broad amount. Also, we're going to have to install support poles all the way down the driveway and run cameras because we have no coverage at the end of our driveway, and we're having dogs get shot down there. We're having people break our gate. We're having people dump dogs and take dogs, which messes us up. Teresa, did the blood machine get fixed? It didn't. No, I prepped it for shipping by emptying all the fluids and everything, and it's a really slow process. And then the guy came back with several ideas to fix it, so I had to prime everything. But it was some sort of internal component is faulty, so we had to pack it up and ship it out. So we're without a blood machine, and I'm not really sure. I still need to talk to Luis about if we're even going to try and ship it back in. The company is great that we rent it from, but they can't guarantee that nothing is ever going to break on it or need service, and we can't pay customs fees and hundreds of dollars of shipping fees every time we need to ship it back out. So unless I go to school to learn how to rebuild blood machines, we might have to fundraise for one in country, which is like $6,000. Might as well be $1 million right now. We're getting, we've kind of come to a heartbreaking reality recently, Luis and I have, and we argue back and forth about it all the time, about that we're probably going to be sending less and less dogs to homes going forward, because the UK is implementing rules trying to stop the puppy farming stuff, so they're not allowing any dogs to be imported that have cropped ears, right? But also, we're already, you can't import dogs, like rescue dogs, into the UK. There's already a lot of dogs in the shelter. People can adopt the dogs, and they can bring them from Iraq to the UK, but it's costly. The US has made it harder. The CDC and whatnot in the US has made it very, very difficult to bring dogs to the US. Canada is becoming near impossible to move dogs into. And the local homes are few and far between, and we've had some absolute horror stories trying to get dogs adopted here, or we've gotten them adopted and then it's the home check went great, they filled out the adoption application, they passed all the stuff, and then we find that the dog got dumped on the street and we're out looking for it. So local adoptions are kind of not an option, and we can't bring in more dogs if we don't have dogs going out. I mean, we'll keep helping them outside, but we're kind of exhausting our options. And not all dogs are eligible to live outside. The ones that get attacked frequently have to be brought in. Ones that are disabled. We've got a blind puppy in the clinic that I really really fought to not keep that puppy. Like, and I know that sounds awful, but Dr. Teresa, she ended up finding somebody to take the puppy because I was like, we can't have it here, like, and I can't get it adopted. And we cannot have another blind dog here. Like, they really suffer in shelter environments. And the last 2 blind dogs we had, we sent them to the US, like to another rescue, and they really struggled. Like, the dogs are fine now, but they had to go to behaviorists, and like, it was just, so yeah, we've kind of come to the heartbreaking reality that we may not be able to rehome dogs in the future. Not really sure what else to do. But we also can't just indefinitely pull dogs inside because that requires staffing. And it's hoarding. Like, right now we've got a manageable amount of dogs inside. I am still like working on a plan to possibly release a few of them that are like semi-feral, that have been in for a while, that may do better outside. But it's a gamble. Like, I never know if they're gonna take to life outside the shelter or not. And it makes me feel like an absolute monster when I have to make that call to put a dog out so that I can make room for one that absolutely has no chance of surviving outside. Or like little Elsa here underneath the table. Like, she's a small breed dog. She would not have survived out there. They would have killed her. And then if one of the dogs didn't kill her, she'd get hit by a car, or she'd get grabbed by some horrible person that would have bred her for money. So, yeah, a lot of tough decisions here. And unless we magically start getting massive amounts of money in, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. About a year ago, I had this idea that maybe we could open a sanctuary, right, somewhere in Europe where we could shift our dogs there, turn this into a strictly TNR facility, and then, let our dogs live out their days at the sanctuary, and then wherever we set up, like, bring in dogs from that local community. We floated a lot of different ideas past France and, Romania and some other places. But what it comes down to is just money. Like, we don't have $3 million laying around for us to start up a sanctuary. And sanctuaries aren't money makers, like they don't turn over a lot of money. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do here. It's kind of turned into a depressing live. Sorry, guys. Anyway, coming up on noon, so I'm gonna head over to the clinic and see what Dr. Ollie needs help with, and Ellie need help with. Maybe do a little cleaning, tidy up my office and the paperwork and stuff, and then I've still got, waiting for the call, but I've still got to run back by the residency office before I go home for the day. But yeah, please do go to our website at www.warpaws.org and sign up for our newsletter if you haven't already. Go to the link that I've got featured here in the live to see ways that you can donate or help out. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're pretty much any social media platform that you're on, look for us. We're probably on there. And yeah, share our posts, comment, tell your friends about us, tell your family about us, tell your local newspaper about us. Anyone that might share our story, we would appreciate it. Yep. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I know that this is a little long-winded and kind of depressing, but I appreciate you guys watching and interacting with me. All right, bye, guys. Thank you so much.